all of a sudden we're at the Olympics and it's like, oh, this ain't no rugby festival because
Yeah,
rugby's huge
right.
in New Zealand, but not the rest of the world, bro. And so it's like, holy wreck, we're here with the best, the most ultimate sports, the best athletes in the entire world. Anyone in sporting I've ever looked up to, I've made toast next to now because of the Olympics. It's just like you just open your eyes and like you can't open them wide enough to take in this amazing moment. And because we're all sports mad, it's like heaven on earth. It's like this huge. It's literally like taking a trip up to heaven. If you're sports mad and you just sit, you're in this Olympic village looking around. It's absolutely unreal. There's nothing like it. But the importance for me when it comes to rugby is so we've got women's rugby, we've got men's rugby. Where do we do? How do we make this better? When the Olympics was announced, that was women's rugby's ticket to get equality in sevens. And because of the Olympics, you can get any sport into the Comgays if you can argue it. You can only put a sport into the Olympics if you have a female and male equal
All right.
events. That is why the Olympics is so special.
Hmm.
Don't come over here with a male dominated sport. If you want a sport in the Olympics, it has to be male and female in that sport in that discipline. So for rugby in New Zealand, that's why the Olympics was so important because we went in there men's sevens, women's sevens. We need to both be supported equally. We need all equal resources. If they're living in Tauranga, we're living in Tauranga. If they're training 9 to 5, we're training 9 to 5. It was all equal. We've got the same stuff. And, the woman went bloody all right. So it's because of that, the Olympics, men's and women's sevens, men's and women's rugby sevens in New Zealand is 100% equal resources. So for us, the Olympics changed our life. We used to play 15s and play sevens and fundraise and go around the world. Yeah, it was fun. Don't get me wrong. I love the sport,
Hmm.
but the Olympics changed our lives, bro. The Olympics
Right.
gave us full-time jobs, same pay, sometimes more pay than some of the guys. Like, not that it's about money, but sorry, same resources.
Yeah.
And it was just huge for New Zealand.
That's I. There you go. You've taught me something. You asked me what I learned from other Olympians. You've taught me something. So I never knew that. So there has to be a men's and women's competition of whatever it is in the Olympics. So if it's judo, men's, women's judos. If it's pole vault, men's, because that's one actually. Pole vault. That must be a. I'm guessing that's a fairly recent rule because there wasn't female pole vaulting till about 2 Olympics ago. Because Eliza
Yeah, yeah.
McCarthy was one of the. So is that when the rule came in, and that's when they announced rugby as well.
Oh geez, I don't know when the rule came in because remember back in the day it was just the naked fellas in Athens running around and it was only men. But sometimes it differs. Like if you look at gymnastics, the women have got the floor and the men have got the rings and horses and stuff like that. So
Right.
there's different
Different
specific,
disciplines, but
athletics and
yeah,
stuff. But if you're gonna have gymnastics, you've got to have a men's one and a women's one. So
gotcha.
yeah, but different like that.
Yeah, so the men don't. I don't think the men do the floor routine, do they, with the
No,
ball and the ribbons and stuff? So different disciplines, but there's still gymnastics for
has
both
to
men
be, yeah,
and
you
women.
have to be able to go to the Olympics for that sport in both genders. Yeah.